Hi everyone, Jen here in my kitchen. Today we're making some roasted carrots, spiced chicken. You'll see this is like a dish that's inspired from our Christmas adventure to the Ottawa Valley. We had access to these food kits, like meal kits. So one of them was almost this exact same thing. So I thought that you guys would be inspired by this as well. I'm not making the hummus, but I think there's a video somewhere on YouTube by many people, I'm sure, but there might be one where I make hummus as well. But we'll give you the hummus and the roasted garlic. But also, just so you know how to make roasted garlic for the next time, it's very simple. It's just a little bit more time than we have today. Chop off the top, cut just like the little bit of the top of the garlic, and then drizzle it with some olive oil, a little bit of salt, wrap it up in foil, and then you bake it between 325 and 350 for about 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, so let's get started. You're gonna need a sheet pan and a frying pan. What I'm gonna do first is get our chicken going. I've got a couple of chicken breasts here, and we're just gonna make sure that they're nice and dry. And then season them with a little bit of salt. Heat up our pan. And then I've got a mixture of onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and a spice blend called za'atar, which is like thyme and sumac and some sesame seeds. We're just gonna sprinkle on a little bit of that seasoning on both sides of the chicken. And drizzle of olive oil in the pan. Then you're gonna sear these, well, cook them. We're gonna cook these for about 8 minutes aside. These are pretty big, but we want them fully cooked through. Okay, and while we've got our chicken cooking, we're gonna heat up our oven to 450 degrees and cut our carrots. So we've got some nice like medium-sized carrots. We want them to cook at the same rate, but you don't have to go too nuts with cooking them. I'm just gonna turn them into long spears. So just in quarters, basically, by length. And put your carrots out on the baking sheet. We're gonna sprinkle a bit of our spice blend on the carrots. Add a little bit of salt and a good drizzle of olive oil. And then we can mix them up, get them well coated with the seasoning and the olive oil. And then spread them out evenly on the baking sheet so that they're not too close to one another. And then they're gonna go into the oven for about 15 minutes. You can set a timer for 15 minutes. And then in the meantime, we're gonna prep our kale. So these are gonna turn out into like crispy kale chips that you're gonna garnish your dinner with. So just take your kale, take it off the stem, and then just tear it into some bite-sized pieces. look at that. Okay. So I got that side nice and golden. Turn it over, and then we're gonna cook the other side about the same amount of time. We'll just make sure it's cooked through, and it'll probably have enough time to rest as well. So while we're waiting for these things to cook, we're going to just do a good drizzle of olive oil on our kale. And we'll add our roasted garlic, 1 clove, and a little bit of salt. And then get your hands in there and massage the oil and the salt and the garlic onto just about every kale leaf if you can. This is going to really start breaking down the kale a little bit before we get it into the oven, but it's also going to make sure that it gets nice and crispy in the oven because we want chips. I think you'll like chips as a garnish. I mean, if it ends up being just soggy steamed kale, it's fine as well, but we're going for chips here. Okay, so while we're waiting for our chicken and carrots to finish, I just wanted to show you, this is the roasted garlic. You're just gonna kind of squeeze it out of its peel, and we're gonna add 1 clove into our hummus. So you can squish it with your fingers. Mine's really hot right now, or get a fork, or I'm just gonna mash it in with a spoon. Mix that in. Okay, so 15 minutes is up for the carrots. Take them out of the oven, and they're partially cooked. We're gonna give them a turn. They're getting really nice and golden, and now you can bunch them up at one end. And they're going to continue to cook for the next 10 to 12 minutes, and we're going to put our kale down, on the other end of the baking sheet and try and spread it out as much as possible. If you need to get those carrots a little bit more cozy, we can do that too, because they're caramelized and we're now more concerned with the kale getting crispy. Okay. That looks good. You could even put a little bit on top of the carrots, I think. I'm going to just pop this in. We'll check them in 10 minutes. And our chicken, I put a lid on it because they're so thick. I'm worried about them not getting cooked all the way through and getting cooked too much on the outside. They're looking good. We'll probably cook them for another 5 minutes. So that's about 20 minutes total. So for these big ones, do 10 on each side, and then they'll be able to rest for about 5-10 minutes while we're getting other things out and plating. Our chicken has been resting, so you can take it out. This is just for presentation. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. And also, you've got these big chicken breasts like I have. Maybe you don't think you can eat a whole one. You want to divide it amongst your family. And I'm just going to slice, make nice little slices. Oh, smells good. Looks good. You can get your plate ready. So what we're going to do is take a big dollop of your hummus and do a big smear around the plate so that all your bites will get some of this hummus in it. see some of our kale has gotten a little bit brown and crispy. Actually, it's all, yeah, it's crispy enough for sure. That's great. Okay, and we'll make sure our carrots are cooked through. Just kind of give them a little poke. And then I'll show you what I would do for plating. Just take a few of these carrots and lay them across the middle of the plate. Take some slices of the chicken. And then your kale chips just go on top. And it's kind of like a crunchy little garnish. And then you can serve the extra hummus on the side if people want it. If you want to go with some carbs, you could have some pitas or something like that on the side. But this is a really lovely, high protein, high fiber, and low carb dinner that I hope you enjoy. Bye.